everybody. Welcome back to Record-ology. Okay, today we're going to take another look at the Audio-Technica AT-LP120XUSB. That is one of the modern variants of the famous LP120 turntable. Now, again, I like to take another look and sort of do a follow-up review on these turntables after I've had them for some time to let you know how they've performed since I first got them. Because as you can imagine, durability and really the sustainability of that product can't be talked about really in that first episode unless I've had one before, which is, it's not very likely that I have. So I wanted to do that today. And if you like this show, if you enjoy it, do me a favor, just do one thing for me and hit subscribe. That's all I'm going to ask for. Hit subscribe. If you've already subscribed, send it to a friend. Tell somebody about it that doesn't know about the show. Let them know what we're doing here. I would really appreciate that. So we're going to kind of talk about my experiences with this turntable over the last year or so since I've had it, let you know what I think about it. I want to start off with the dust cover because I'm going to take it off because it's really reflective and it's hard to film with all these lights bouncing off of it. So kind of hard to see. I'm going to see if I can zoom in a little bit here. Yeah, you can see it pretty well there. So this thing is a scratch magnet, and the polycarbonate that they use for these is a pretty commonly used material. So any turntable's dust cover is going to have the same problem, and that it is super susceptible to scratching. Now, you would think by looking at this that I probably stacked all kinds of, sharp pointed things on here or whatever, but in actuality, I haven't. Taken, record albums, I've stacked them on top, I've slid them back and forth, grabbing them or whatever, and that's really about it. Every once in a while, maybe I'll put like a Bluetooth speaker up here, nothing major that, would obviously cause scratching, but it's just testament to the fact how important it is if you want to keep yours in pristine condition is to not ever put anything on your dust cover. So with that being said, let me take my dust cover off and we'll take a further look. By the way, if you decide you want to buy this unit, I'm going to put a link in the description below as well as a link to our previous full review. Now, obviously you can tell something's missing here. So this is the head shell it comes with. I don't have a cart mounted to it right now. It does use a typical 1/2-inch mount. So it's super easy to mount a new cartridge or upgrade it. But I'm going to cheat a little bit and use my Ortofon DJ. I love these things. They're really for DJing, but they work great as a cartridge and head shell all in one. It's as simple as that to install. Literally, that's all there is to it. And then obviously you need to set the appropriate tracking force, which I will do. A word about this turntable. So it's made by Handpin Turntables of China. Just like Crosley, Audio-Technica is a marketer and reseller of turntables, not a manufacturer. They make cartridges. They don't make record players. So they have various levels of design input, everything from providing design input and helping design all the way to rebadging pre-designed product, just like Crosley. And that's not a bad thing. That's a really interesting thing. So this unit comes off the same assembly line as a Crosley C100, C200. Actually, most of the Crosley mid-range and upper range, well, not the upper range. The upper range of Crosley is Project, the C10 and C20. But this comes off the same assembly line as an LP60, as a T400, I believe, as well. So it comes from a family of good products that are priced affordably. Now, this unit is one of the two main units, this and the LP60, that all vinyl people, for the most part, can agree is a good quote-unquote starter turntable deck. And when I say starter, I put that in parentheses because what is starter to you may be high-end to somebody else. And so that's important to keep in mind. So it's got an S-shaped aluminum tone arm here. Again, this is the newer version, as you can see by the X designation down there, AT-LP120XUSB, because it is USB encrypted, USB enabled. And does have the pitch slider here. You can adjust the tempo range for 8% or 16%. It is quartz locked. It is rock steady on speed, and for that, I love it. It does have a little cueing light, which connects, ironically enough, via a little RCA jack, which is kind of bizarre, and I just leave that in all the time. It's nice to have that cueing light. This is meant to allow you to cue up the stylus in the dark and really that's a DJing feature because you're in a dark nightclub or whatnot. The counterbalance is completely adjustable. It's got an anti-skate. It is a real anti-skate. I know some people sometimes think that anti-skates are, not really doing what they should. It does not have a vertical tracking adjustment. This is just for show, this kind of gear thing here. Unlike the LP7, which does have a real one. Kind of going around the back here on our tour, there is a little sprocket here so you can store your extra cartridges. So if you have like a 78 stylus and cartridge loaded up on another head shell, you can just store it right there and have it ready to go, which is super neat. On the back, you'll see the clips for the dust cover. And let's take a little bit closer look at what's back here. Again, this isn't a full review video, but I do want to touch on a couple of things. Built-in preamp. And by the way, some of the early the early 120 USB models got a bad rap for having the built-in preamp introduce noise even when they were turned off and people would take them out. I asked the guys at CES with Audio-Technica and they said, yes, that actually was real and they fixed it on this line. So there was some redesign work under the hood that took that issue away. So you can use or bypass the built-in preamp without any fear of any line noise or distortion. So you've got the outputs, you've got a ground, the USB, and the power as well. The feet are pretty big and pretty chunky foot. It's got sort of a rubber seal on the bottom. This will vacuum form to a glass or a flat surface like this pretty easily. If you leave it there for a period of time and you go to move it, it'll be like literally suction cupped to it. And these do pivot as well for stability. Going around back here, this is not standard equipment. This is the anti-static brush that we added. If you want to see that, check out the video we did reviewing it. It's a really cool product. Basically, you cue it up like that before you cue the main tone arm, and it not only cleans the record as it plays, but through the ground wire, which is connected to your preamp, it actually eliminates static. It is amazing, amazing, amazing product. And speaking of non-standard, this really thick and wonderful rubber platter mat is non-standard. This is actually off the LP3, which, as you know, I have that awesome green neon one on right now. And there is the platter itself. It is direct drive, so nice. There's no belt. The sub platter does have a space for it, so this is a standard issue sub platter for other turntables in the range at handpin that may require a belt, so the same platter can be used. Down here you've got the main bearing, and that's really about it. There's nothing else under the hood per se. I really knocked that off when I did that. And you really never need to take this thing off. It is a good, steady, heavy aluminum platter. Put it back on there. I mean, there is no wobble to it whatsoever. You'll see little variations on the side, but really those are variations in the paint and the etchings, not variations in the actual platter itself. So let me spin this around front and we'll take another close look. It does use an external power supply. So this is kind of a chunky transformer. So some people don't like that. Also, it protrudes a little bit. So sometimes if you push in on the bottom, it has a tendency of working itself back from the outlet. It's pretty lightweight though. So you can, if you're doing it, mounted down on a flat power strip, you probably won't have much of an issue. And actually, you're not going to have much of an issue anyway, but it's kind of interesting how far that protrudes out. Anyway, that is how it is powered. There is no built-in power supply. Okay, sort of taking a closer look down in this corner of the turntable here, this is one area that this thing really, really shines. So the whole design and setup of this is very, very efficient. You've got the power switch right here, which also turns on the cueing light, which is always on. It's pretty bright in here, so it's a little hard to see. The big start and stop switch. Again, this is modeled, the basic design is modeled after the Technic's 1200 turntable of some renown. You've probably heard about it, and some people demand the original. However, this, I wouldn't call it a clone. I would say the style is inspired by that style. Holds its own, definitely does. And I think around $250 for this versus $700 to $1,000 for a Technics, which they started making again even more expensive. I think they go for like $1,200, and they're a great turntable from what I understand. But this is no slouch. This is definitely a quality product. Anybody that says this is junk has not played with it. They truly haven't played with it. So you've got 3 speeds, which is amazing. This is something that the Crosley variant, the C100, the C200, the 100 is belt driven, C200 is direct drive like this. They don't have the 3rd speed, so it's 33 or 45, and then both to get 78. And you can see the dots up there change accordingly. And because it's direct drive, it's super high torque, so it gets to that appropriate speed quickly, and much more quickly than like a belt drive. So in a DJ situation, that's really what you want. Plus, if you're DJing, direct drive is imperative if you're going to be doing scratching. So that's a very important aspect of that. However, direct drive is a great, turntable method, propulsion method for just a casual listener like me as well. There's nothing wrong with it whatsoever. Some of the earlier models I had heard had some motor rumble. That's been completely eliminated. Again, it's another aspect of the redesign of this product. So there's no motor rumble. There's no noise from the preamp. They've really ironed out all of the issues they had. We've done a lot of videos on how to set or how to adjust the speed of the turntable and how to use the strobe with better lighting that better illustrates that. So I'm not going to go into that again. Suffice to say, it does work. It is accurate. We've checked it with the strobe mat, and it does a great job. And this thing is locked steady on speed. And what's really cool is being able to play those 78s on a professional deck like this, on a deck that really gives you high quality, the ability to change out cartridges, and all that good stuff. So that is a super, super huge benefit and one of the best things about this turntable, in my opinion. Another little trivia fact about this turntable is that it is super, super heavy. And it's like, why is it so heavy? They do put weights in it. It's kind of like Beats headphones. Whoa, is that on? Okay, it wasn't supposed to be on. It's kind of like Beats headphones where they feel heavy because they literally add metal weights just to give them like a quality, quote unquote, quality feel. They do that as well. The Crosley variant, the C100, C200 does not have the weight. And it makes a big difference in terms of the initial, feel, the heft that this has when you pick it up. This is very substantial. Now, the weight, in this case, isn't done for the purposes of, oh, this is a quality product, it's heavy. No, this is actually mass inertia. We've talked about that a couple times recently. Having a heavier plinth, a heavier turntable that the platter rests on, that mass, it wouldn't be mass inertia, it would just be mass. But having that heavier product adds to stability. So it's going to be less susceptible to rumbles on the floor, rumbles on the table, speakers that may be on the same surface, little bumps and knocks and things. It's less susceptible to those vibrations and movements. That's why they do it. So, and it does make a difference, and it is a positive thing for sure. Okay, so let's give it a little bit of a listen here. This is a recent Frank Sinatra record, and this should be a good demonstration of the sound quality. So without further ado, here we go.
Old MacDonald.
Let me go ahead and skip through a little bit here. You know the drill. Now I can just hear it now. Wow, that descend is really, really fast. You can control the descend by slowly bringing it down.
Put stardust in your hair.
And it goes nice and as nice and gentle as you want.
A lucky pillow.
Gorgeous record, by the way. One more little sample here. So, in closing, I would say that this is a great unit. I would highly recommend it. There's absolutely nothing that would prevent me from recommending this fully to somebody. It is a great unit. And again, I don't know if I would call it a starter unit or just a unit. It is a great turntable. It has excellent features, fantastic build quality, a lot of adaptability. You can put on your favorite cartridge, you can put on your favorite platter mat, you can add little extras like this thing. So it's really fun to sort of add your own custom touch. And some people may consider it sacrilege, but I've also seen people put stickers on and things of that nature. My only issue really has been in that dust cover being so scratch sensitive, but that's not really a design flaw. I am asked quite a bit if I would recommend this or an LP60XUSB, the modern equivalent of that. Actually, one of many in that range now. And it's hard, it's apples and oranges because this is completely manual. There's no auto return, there's no auto stop. It's, you know, you actively participate when you're listening to a record on this turntable, whereas an LP60 is push button operation. Push to start, push to stop, automatic return, automatic shut off, all that good stuff. From a quality standpoint, they come out of the same factory. They're, you know, I would say very much on par with each other in terms of quality. This is a bigger, heavier, more expensive unit. Sound quality wise, are you going to notice a big difference? I would say not. Now you can upgrade this to the cartridge to a super high-end one, and that's one of the upgrades you can do and really notice a difference if you're so inclined, versus the LP60 where you're locked in with that AT-3600L cartridge, which is a beginner cartridge but not bad. And sort of a good middle ground is the LP3 that we've been showing a lot of, that white turntable, because it has some of the features of this in terms of the adjustable counterbalance, anti-skate, replaceable head shell, and still has that full automatic capability. So that's super cool. That's sort of a neat middle ground, and price-wise, it's less than this, although it's more than the LP60 series. So anyway, guys, I hope you thought that was interesting. Again, I'll have the links down below. If you thought this was interesting, if you got anything out of this, just hit the subscribe button. And if you want to get notified on everything we do, because we are producing daily now, click the bell notification and select all, so you get all those notifications. If you don't do that, you may miss something. So come back often and check it out. But anyway, that's going to do it for now, guys. Happy record hunting. We will see you tomorrow.